Angel Reese just got exposed by Caitlin Clark after her debut in the Unrivaled Basketball League. Remember, this is the same Angel Reese who once boldly claimed that Caitlin wasn't the only reason people tuned into the WNBA. Apparently, Reese thought she was a star attraction too. Fast forward to this new league, where Clark isn't even a competitor, and yet Reese still manages to flop harder than a bad sequel. Her game is weak, her attitude is garbage, and her ego is way too big. She had every chance to prove herself on a fresh stage, away from Caitlin's shadow. And what does she do? Lose her very first game.
She got kind of overshadowed by Cameron Brink too. But remember, this girl was picked fourth, right?
My question to you, Angel, what's the excuse now? The spotlight was yours, the competition was manageable, and yet you couldn't deliver. So how exactly are you planning to justify this disaster? We're all ears because now your next big thing status is looking more like the next big joke.
Girl has a chance to become a star, man, in this Unrivaled, make a name.
March 25th, 2025, the Unrivaled Basketball League's debut. Big hype, bigger expectations, and the big letdown. Reese's Rose Basketball Club was counting on her to deliver, but instead, she handed over the win to Vinyl Basketball Club like it was a housewarming gift. Final score? Vinyl BC 79, Rose BC 73. Sounds close, right? Nope. That 6-point gap doesn't show how much of a mess Reese made of the game.
I can't see that Angel did anything if they didn't show it.
Reese came into this league with more hype than a Black Friday sale. The next big thing, they said. Turns out, the thing was a monumental flop. 10 points and 14 rebounds looked decent on paper, until you realize she shot under 30% and turned the ball over 4 times. Each one was a dagger to her team's chances. When the game was on the line, did Reese step up? No. She tripped, fumbled, and dragged Rose BC down with her fast break opportunities? She had 3. Count them. 3 chances to swing the momentum in her team's favor. What did she do? Fumbled them like hot potatoes. It was like watching someone try to carry water in a sieve, pointless, frustrating, and ultimately useless. Defensively? Don't even get me started. Sure, she snagged 14 rebounds, but what good are rebounds when you're a revolving door for the opposing team's offense? Ryan Howard practically set up camp in the paint because Reese wasn't about to stop her.
Her fans are not going to be happy if she's not touching the ball. And you going to have, and maybe that'll be good for the league. Controversy. But the Reese's not going to be happy if Angel just running up and down the floor.
Speaking of Ryan Howard, she delivered a performance so flawless that it made Reese's look even worse, if that's even possible. Howard dropped 33 points on 55% shooting. That's leadership. That's skill. That's what Angel Reese was supposed to be. When the fourth quarter hit and the pressure was on, Howard took over like the boss she is, scoring 10 of her team's final points. Meanwhile, Reese? She was busy being a liability, floundering around as the game slipped further and further away.
I'm excited to join this crew. I mean, I feel like I can pull from everybody on the team. If it's coming from leadership, veteran leadership. Lexi brings a lot of defense. I've been playing against Lexi for a while.
And it wasn't just Reese who failed. Her whole team followed her down the drain. Vinyl BC's bench outscored Rose BC's by 22 points. The contrast was painful. Vinyl BC moved the ball like a symphony orchestra, smooth, coordinated, unstoppable. Rose BC? They looked like they were playing pickup ball at the local YMCA. No strategy, no cohesion, just chaos. The gap in leadership between the two teams was glaring. Howard led by example and inspired her team to step up. Reese? Her uncertainty and lack of presence infected her squad, dragging them down with her.
So the rankings right here. So they got Lona Owls, number 1, Phantom number 2, Foul number 3, Miss number 4, Laces number 5, and you got Rose number 6. Come on, bro. Y'all know damn.
This wasn't just a bad game for Angel Reese. This was a full-blown humiliation. It exposed every single crack in her game. Turnovers, missed free throws, non-existent defensive stops. It was like a checklist of everything you don't want in a star player. And the worst part? She looked completely unprepared for the big stage. It's one thing to have an off night, but this was something else entirely. Reese didn't seem to realize this was her chance to prove herself, not crumble under pressure. Meanwhile, Vinyl BC flexed on Rose BC from start to finish. Their teamwork, execution, and strategy were all there. They didn't just beat Rose BC, they exposed them as the unorganized mess they are. And Reese? She's at the center of that mess, fumbling her way through what was supposed to be her big moment.
She's going to be a problem. She already a thorn in Angel's side because Angel thinks she's the cutest chick in the league.
Comparing Ryan Howard and Angel Reese as captains isn't just unfair, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Howard is a battle-tested WNBA superstar whose resume speaks for itself. Her presence alone commands respect, and before the ball even tips off, opponents know they are in for a long night. Reese? She's still fumbling through the basics, trying to figure out what it truly means to lead. Potential is great, but potential doesn't win championships. Execution does. And if there's one thing Howard does better than almost anyone, it's execute. She didn't just drop 33 points, she did it with authority. 12 of those came in contested situations, where most players would hesitate. Howard? She thrived under pressure, delivering when her team needed her the most. Reese, on the other hand, folded the moment the heat was on. Every time she faced defensive pressure, she responded with the grace of a train wreck: turnovers, bad decisions, missed opportunities. Instead of elevating her team, she dragged them down, sinking faster than quicksand. Howard dictated the tempo, orchestrating Vinyl BC's offense with the poise of a seasoned general. She saw plays before they happened, controlled the court, and set the tone for her squad. Reese? She looked lost, overwhelmed, and completely out of her depth, a deer caught in headlights, frozen when the moment demanded action. The difference between the two couldn't be more obvious. One put on a masterclass in leadership. The other showed exactly how not to captain a team.
Angel Reese had something similar to say about Unrivaled. When Angel was asked about Unrivaled, she said, "I would stay here forever. Everything I need is here, from massages to cold tubs to being able to have resources to workouts and everything."
Let's dissect exactly why Angel Reese was the weakest link in Rose BC's chain. 4 turnovers, each one a crucial mistake that Vinyl BC ruthlessly punished, turning them into 8 easy points. That's not just an off night. That's a full-blown disaster. Every time Reese lost the ball, Rose BC lost momentum, confidence, and ultimately, control of the game. But the turnovers were just the beginning. Her free throw shooting was equally painful to watch, going 2-4-6 from the line. That's 4 points left on the table, points that could have been the difference maker in a close contest. In games where every possession matters, those misses aren't just numbers on a stat sheet. They are costly errors that separate winners from losers. And then there was her response to pressure, or rather, her lack of one. Vinyl BC's aggressive defensive schemes exposed a glaring weakness in her game. She looked unprepared, overwhelmed, and completely out of sync. Every time she faced a double team, instead of making the right read or finding an open teammate, she panicked. She fumbled, hesitated, and got trapped, handing over possession like it was a gift-wrapped present. Watching her struggle was painful, like witnessing someone try to put out a fire with gasoline. The expectations were high, but when the moment demanded composure, Reese folded under the pressure. If she wants to be taken seriously as a leader, she has a long road ahead to prove she belongs.
But Breanna Stewart knows that she can beat Angel off the dribble. And so that is something, if there is a mismatch in the 3v3, obviously you want to take advantage of that, but it could turn into a game that's just kind of one-dimensional. Now, it does seem like they're running a lot of half-court sets. They have played.
Leadership is what separates good players from great ones. But in Angel Reese's case, it was glaringly absent. When her team needed her the most, she vanished. Instead of rallying her squad and taking control, Reese faded into the background, leaving Rose BC in shambles when it mattered most. This wasn't just an off night, it was an absolute collapse. Fans, analysts, and even her own teammates are now left wondering, does Reese have the mentality to lead, or was the captain's badge given prematurely? Then came Caitlin Clark's brutal assessment. Angel Reese's performance was disappointing. She needs to focus on the fundamentals before stepping into the spotlight. That wasn't just criticism, it was a direct challenge. And the worst part, Clark wasn't wrong. Reese's debut didn't just fall short, it exposed every flaw in her game under the brightest lights. The hype, the expectations, the star power, it all crumbled in real time. So, where does Reese go from here? Does she take Clark's words as motivation and prove the doubters wrong? Or does she let this moment define her, forever remembered as a player who couldn't rise to the occasion? Right now, the ball is in her court. But if this performance was any indication, she needs to tighten her grip, because the road to redemption is long, and right now, she's barely at the starting line.